Now, in order to combat the effects of climate change, delegates of the East African Community member countries emphasized the necessity to build collaborative, sustainable initiatives, particularly given that this country's financial capacity to address these issues is currently limited. The managing director of the International Monetary Fund, Kristalina Georgieva, notes that this fund is willing to support projects that countries will demonstrate to be having long-term benefits to the economy of countries. Olive Nete has more on this report.
Discussions that joined the managing director of the International Monetary Fund, Kristalina Georgieva, who is on a 3-day working visit to Rwanda, and ministers of finance and governors of central banks of the East African Community, discussions reiterated on the benefits of the Resilience Sustainability Facility, an instrument of the International Monetary Fund to support low and middle-income countries build resilience to external shocks by providing long-term affordable financing to address longer-term challenges. Delegates of member countries of the East African Community revealed some of the challenges facing the continent related to the effects of climate change.
Like any other countries, South Sudan is an agricultural country, and maybe you have heard for the last 4 years we have been hit by flood, which is exactly opposite our colleagues in Kenya. Drought and flooding are almost the same, very disastrous, and they affect the economies negatively. You see, apparently, many of our people have been displaced from those areas which are flooded for the last 4 years. And agriculture has failed. Even our oil, which we depend on entirely, many oil fields are underwater, so we cannot now produce the oil. And this has affected our economy negatively. The other issue now, way forward, the country, what the government has done is to form what we call NDC, that is National Determined Contribution, to address these issues. Of this, we actually made estimates is at least ranging from $700 to about $1 billion over a number of years to address these issues.
Climate is a cross-border phenomenon. So whereas we appreciate the national efforts to address climate, it's only helpful in as far as immediate needs are concerned. So take, for example, if you want to promote irrigation, you need to secure the water catchment area. You need to green the country. But over time, I think the cross-border phenomenon becomes important. So how do you address the cross-border aspects of this? So take, for example, Rwanda has made progress. God forbid that Uganda, Tanzania, and the neighboring countries don't make progress. How sustainable are the efforts of Rwanda?
The Minister of Finance and Economic Planning, Dr. Uziel Ndagijimana, points out that although Rwanda needs 11 billion Rwandan francs to implement the National Determination Contribution, a plan to deal with and prevent the effects of climate change, he notes that the country is currently implementing 45 various climate resilience projects.
As current resources are not near sufficient compared to the needs, we need to mobilize more, both public and private resources through different financing mechanisms, including green bonds, blended finance, and attraction of private funds through the newly established Kigali Financial Center. We are in talks with some partners to support us in this journey.
The Resilience Sustainability Facility was established by the International Monetary Fund in 2022 as an important new financing instrument to help low and middle-income countries address longer-term structural challenges. The facility initiated with $40 billion. Rwanda is among the first countries to access the IMF's Resilience and Sustainability Facility, where it was provided with $319 million for climate resilience projects. Kristalina Georgieva, the managing director of the International Monetary Fund, notes that the fund is willing to support projects that have a positive impact on the economy of countries.
We would like to see using the RST as a catalyst for massive increase in private investments. In other words, we want to count our success on the basis of not only how much we finance, but how much we have generated as private financing. Why is this important? And I want to make this point as strongly as I can. It is important because we are so behind that only a massive acceleration of investment in developing countries would save us, bringing African programs one after another. To succeed, to move, we need you. So I'm going to finish with a very simple appeal. Help us to help you.
Every year, sub-Saharan African countries requires at least $50 billion to enact policies that will avoid and mitigate the effects of climate change. The world has a target of reducing greenhouse gas emissions by 25% to 40% by 2030, which means that without action, global temperatures will continue to rise, hence lead to more damages. Olive Nete, RTV News.